The RSF was clearly keen to take Fasher, I think, for numerous reasons. One of those reasons is definitely that it improves their military position in Sudan, which also improves their negotiating position in any peace talks. But I think the focus on Fasher was for a number of strategic reasons, including the political leverage it would give them. So yes, because they now would control more of Sudan, it will probably increase their confidence at the negotiating table and harden their demands at the negotiating table. Fasher was really the last pocket that was complicating a broader split that was RSF controlling most of Western Sudan and the army and the Port Sudan government controlling most of Central Sudan and Eastern Sudan. And this battle had been going on for over a year. It was the last army stronghold in Darfur, and now RSF controls they already controlled most of Darfur, but now the last army stronghold has been pushed out. There are other groups there, some against the RSF, some neutral, some with the RSF. But the army now effectively only controls areas further to the east in the country.
I think we're still several steps away from thinking about something that might be a permanent ceasefire and how that might be delivered, what the mechanism is for that, as well as how you eventually get to a civilian government. And what civilian means when you have two warring entities that have established their own quote unquote civilian administrations, which really don't fully represent the needs and interests of all the Sudanese people, in particular those who have an aspiration to see democracy in the country.
Right, well, let's hear more from CGTN's Robert Nagila with more on the situation in Darfur.
After a siege lasting over 500 days, Fasher fell to the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces on Monday. This followed the capture of the army headquarters in the city that was the army's last stronghold in the Darfur region. In a televised address, Sudan's Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said the army had made a tactical withdrawal from the city.
Due to the systematic destruction and killing of civilians, and we agreed to their departure and their move to a safe place to spare the rest of the citizens and the city from destruction.
With the capture of Fasher, the RSF now all but controls the 5 Darfur states and is threatening to march on to cities in other regions.
We congratulate this victory on the people of Sudan in general and tell them that our liberation of Fasher is the liberation of Sudan, and we will soon reach Port Sudan.
There are growing concerns from humanitarian agencies over the safety of more than 250,000 civilians, some of whom have already fled to nearby towns. Unverified footage of public executions of civilians trying to flee Fasher have emerged on social media.
There are civilians in Fasher. It is a fact. And once again, and we've said it dozens of times, the UN calls on the RSF to allow safe passage for them to leave, particularly as the fighting has intensified over the past 24 hours. These individuals are at increased risk of being injured or killed.
Residents of the city who've been under constant bombardment from the RSF without food or medical supplies appealed for assistance.
Please help us with anything you can. We are in dire need of assistance. We are hungry, thirsty, and suffering from shortages of everything.
We have no money, nothing to eat, no mattresses to sleep on, no blankets to keep us warm, no mosquito nets to protect us from mosquitoes.
Fighting between the Sudan Armed Forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces broke out in 2023 in the capital, Khartoum, and quickly spread across the country. Earlier this year, the army had recaptured huge swaths of territory, including the capital, Khartoum. But the fall of Darfur represents a major setback in its efforts to control the country. Robert Nagila, CGTN.